Testing, testing. Okay, I think that's great. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream by KVRX. I know it's been a while, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thank my loyal Patreon patrons, Jennifer and Perry. Both of them are contributing $1 a month, and for that they get a special shout out in my videos. There was another user who contributed for 3 months, I believe, and was actually doing the middle of lockdown or so, and that was Michael. He's not contributing anymore, but I will still give him credit because I failed to do so when he actually did give credit, when he actually did contribute. So thanks, Michael, for your contribution. And yeah, in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at some of the common objections that I seem to be getting about. Wait. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. My recording was I had a test recording active in the background, so you guys may have heard that. All right. Let's continue going on. Okay, so I'm going to be responding to common objections, specifically from comments that I've been receiving on my video False Teachers of South Africa and also my CRC videos. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to be going here, not over there. So for those of you who are curious, this is Ubuntu Linux. So that's exciting, I believe so. And let's go to Brave browser, and open YouTube up. Hopefully it does soon. Is the CPU still doing fine? Seems like it, yes. Great. Okay, I'm just waiting for Brave to actually open, since there's a couple of things open at once now. Failed to load module. Yeah, it usually says that. I don't guess it just means it failed to load the module. Now we're sitting around waiting for it to open. This laptop's getting a little bit warm. So I'm actually recording this on my laptop. I received it as a gift quite a while back. I had to buy a new charger and a battery for it, but and also I had a hard drive lying around, so I decided to load Ubuntu Linux, and we can sidestep those expensive licensing fees that you usually get when you're working in Windows. Okay, this is going to take forever. Let's not do that. Let's just go straight to YouTube. There we go. Okay, let's go to my YouTube studio, and then you guys can see what kind of comments I've been getting. I've been meaning to respond to comments for a while, but look, I don't want to respond and try to cause a debate, because I mean, it doesn't end well. Okay, let's take a look at some of the common objections that I've been getting. Okay, there's actually a lot of people who agree with my videos. Okay, so here's a common objection. Let's just make it a little bit, make the text a little bit bigger. Okay, the scroll wheel on this mouse is busted, so I'm gonna have to do that, and that looks all weird. Uh, Saki Low said about 2 weeks ago, if you're so okay, so that's objection number one. Do not touch the anointed of God. Now, if we actually go and read this in context, let's just open freaking Brave. Hopefully it opens this time. I'm gonna google.co.za. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Is it? Apparently I'm trying to do too many things at once. Hope this live stream is still active again. It's still active. Okay. All right. Where's Brave browser? Okay. Do not touch my anointed. KGV. Okay, so all credit to BibleGateway.com. Let's read the full chapter and do my prophets no harm. So let's actually look at this in context, since that's important. Okay, so a general rule of thumb that I have is to read 5 verses before and 5 verses after in order to get the context of the verse. So reading from at least that far ahead, let's just do this again. Verse number 17. And okay, so let's read one verse before. Even of the covenant which you made with Abraham and of his oath unto Isaac. So I assume this is talking about God, that much we can gather. And hath confirmed the same to Jacob for law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, Unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. When you were but a few, even a few and a strangers in it, when they went from nation to nation, and from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Sing unto the Lord all the earth, show forth from day to day his salvation, declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. For great is the Lord, and great to be praised. He is also to be feared above all the gods, for the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Glory and honor are in his presence, strength and gladness are in his place. Yet he reproved kings for their sakes. So, firstly, what I think this refers to, let's go to my face cam, is more the principle of not killing the prophets of God. It does not mean that if they are in the wrong, that you cannot reprove them or that they're beyond reproach. I mean, I know it says in the New Testament that they should be beyond reproach, but that just means that there should be nothing to reproach them for. It does not mean they are inherently, in and of them, by nature of being prophets or teachers, beyond reproach. It just means they should conduct themselves in a way that they are beyond reproach. So touching God's anointed, it's also the subjective fact of whether or not those people actually are God's anointed. And I mean, if they're preaching falsehoods, then clearly the argument can be made that they're not actually God's anointed, and therefore, even by the logic of that argument, it doesn't really make sense. But here's also the problem. A lot of these things are not logical arguments. They're actually more emotional arguments that people have. And responding to them in a logical way is not really going to get you anywhere, because, I mean, it's more of an emotional thing. I mean, if you sunk so much money into it, you've got this huge belief in it, and you believe this guy's a man of God. I mean, obviously, you're going to get defensive if some punk kid on the internet says that, well, he's teaching falsehoods, and you're going to be like, where are you coming from? What have you done for God? Which is also the second point that I want to raise up, and that is, Ye olden, where are your great works? Let's just minimize this so at least you guys can get a bit of a better view. Let's just put this in the middle. So it's like, where are your great works? Well, I mean, I don't believe in showing great works, so I'm not going to show off what I did. But I mean, this YouTube channel is one of the things I'm doing, and I don't really make a lot of revenue out of this. So I mean, it's more of a passion project than anything. Like, I mean, I ran a blog dedicated to Christian game reviews for a couple of years, and I made absolute nothing besides one donation of about 30 euros. And that was from something I said on Facebook. It wasn't actually related to the blog. So I ran that for purely out of wanting to do so. And I mean, this YouTube channel also, as well as a passion project, I do make some level of money out of it. Every 2 months I get a small payment, which it's not much. It's just above the $100 threshold that YouTube gives us. I mean, it's no secret how much revenue you can make off of YouTube. But unlike guys like Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and PewDiePie, I don't really make all that much. So yeah, this is what I am doing. And even though it's not as grand as building a huge church, I mean, at least it's something. I mean, if you're looking at the size of somebody's works, well, that doesn't really mean much. It's more the heart behind it that means something. And I mean, God will judge my works, as he said in the New Testament. He will prove them by fire, and that's in his hands to do. It's in his hands to judge their works. However, I just want to say, just because they're doing good works does not excuse falsehoods that they preach. It's a red herring argument. And for those of you who don't know what a red herring argument is, a red herring is a type of fish. Now, it's apparently not the kind of fish you want to catch. I don't really know even, but in arguments, it's something that distracts from the main issue at hand. A red herring argument draws away from the main point I'm trying to make. If I say Borsov is a false teacher, and then they say, well, what have you done for the word of, what have you done for God? Where are your works? That's a red herring argument. It's also, there's another argument called a logical fallacy called whataboutism, which is, well, what about you? And if you say you're a criminal, then you say, what about you? You download pirate movies. An argument like that, that's called whataboutism. These are fallacies of reasoning that you should look out for. Those are things that are complete errors in your way of thinking. So yes, but once again, as I said, these don't really come from a place of logic. They come more from a place of emotion. Because I mean, as soon as you double down on this and double down on your points, they get very defensive and want to fight. Because I mean, it's more of an emotional thing that they're speaking from. Okay, so another third one is you cannot publicly rebuke these guys. Well, I mean, it's a public platform. I mean, I get publicly rebuked on a constant basis in the comment section, and I mean, I'm fine with it. I like this. Sometimes they get a little bit too nasty, but I'm fine with it. You guys are allowed to have your own opinions, even it stings to hear. I still believe that you're entitled to what you want to believe in. You're entitled to give criticism as it sees fit. So, I mean, for my own standards, I allow it. I mean, as long as they don't get nasty or incredibly personal, then yeah, sure, you can do that. However, I've been accused of being a narcissist as well. Like, same thing I've implied about Art Borsov, and I do believe that he is a narcissist. But I mean, I'm not a narcissist, and somebody said that it wasn't really offensive. It was more just confusing because I mean, what are they basing this off of? It was on my video, top 7 signs you're a closet universalist, which I think that video wasn't that well done because I was kind of generalizing all about universalism. So I guess some people had problems with it. And one of the points I said that's narcissistic. I guess that's not actually calling me a narcissist, but I actually think what they meant was kind of in that direction. So it's more. Let's just see that this is not something that where I believe I'm contradicting myself. I usually face a lot of criticism, and I listen to it. So I expect the same from other people, even in my work life, in my personal life. Um, I do the same thing. I mean, I listen to criticism, but I expect people to take criticism in the same vein. If you're going to be harshly criticizing me for thinking differently than you, then you should be able to handle harsh criticism towards yourself as well, and vice versa. So I do deal with a lot of harsh criticism, and that's fine. However, I believe that we should all be held to the same standards, which is the Word of God. As it says in Matthew 17, what's it, Matthew 24? Is it Matthew? I think it's Matthew 17, verse 1 to 6. Let me just make sure of that, that I'm not actually deceiving myself. Or was it Matthew 7, verse 1 to 6? Do not judge. Because it's not Matthew 17. Let's just switch back over again. It's Matthew 7, verse 1 to 6. And it's about judging others. That's the one that gets quoted all the time. As soon as you say, you're wrong, you're in sin, then they say, judge not lest you be judged, which is completely taking it out of context. It's all about you shouldn't judge hypocritically. That's more what it's about. So before people try and pull out that argument of judging is not for us, which is one of the verbatim what one of the comments said, judging is not for us. That's not actually what it says. It says when you judge, make sure to take the beam of wood out of your own eye so you can clearly see the speck of dust in your brother's eye. So it's also something that we see a lot, that if I wanted to go a little bit deep, and apparently some people find my stuff confusing, so let me just make it as simple as possible. In psychology, we have something called projection. Now, what that just means is like a projector. Think of a projector. It's casting an image onto a wall. The image is in the projector, but it's going out onto the wall. Like this wall I have over here. Then, say I have a projector over here, then there's going to be an image over here on the wall. Now, in the same vein, what some people do, and this is in line with the Word of God, is that they will project their own issues onto other people. A common example of this is you think you're better than everybody else when you yourself deep down are struggling with, well, feelings of arrogance, of inadequacy, and then you cover it up by trying to act better than everybody else. Like you act arrogant and then you accuse other people of being arrogant. Or things like you don't care about anybody but yourself, and then you could proceed to continuously act selfish. That's another form of projection. I'll leave it to the psychologist to fully explain how that works, but basically what it just is that we tend to put our own sins onto other people. We redirect instead of claiming responsibility for it, because it kind of hurts to admit that you're actually at fault. So instead, what you just say is you just accuse everybody else of what you yourself are actually guilty of. And that's what that verse is referring to, is do not judge hypocritically and be aware of your own sins before you cast it on other people, because maybe you're rebuking somebody for something you yourself are actually guilty of, and that is impropriety, and all kinds of bad things. So just know before you go around accusing people or you act all emotional, don't project your own flaws into other people. So now, with that said, some people may still try and twist them around and say, "Well, you're projecting your own flaws onto other people, Carl." I don't believe so, but you're more than welcome to disagree with me. All right, so let's quickly go through the comments again. I believe the live streaming is still going well. YouTube currently. Okay, I think the live stream is still going well as far as I see. Well, it's green now. Okay, I see here it's green in the corner. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the screen. There's the infinite mirror. I think that's killing the CPU. Donald Trump 100%. Okay, let's just avoid the subject of Donald Trump as well. Okay, so Taylor Isaacs said, okay, let's start with I don't know. Let's start with their first comment. Pastor Art is a good pastor. I don't know why you'll keep attacking him, spreading the word of God. Like people like you should go to church and let someone pray for you to open your eyes. What's your issue with him? He's a good man. This church is one of the best churches in the world. You're just sad because you can't preach like him. If you have something bad to say, keep it yourself. God doesn't want people to hate on others. Get help, people. Please, thank you. Okay, well, this is a emotional argument, so I mean, there's no um real issue. There is an issue with that. It's just, yeah. Okay, let's just go back up again. You have an ego problem. Get well soon. God bless. On my video CRC. This is this could be another form of projection. I mean, they very much identify, like, okay, generally have done many videos explaining what a cult is, but I'll gladly explain it again from the beginning. A cult is any group that places extreme control on people in many different ways and uses undue influence to brainwash and manipulate people into staying in its ranks. One of the best known cults is Heaven's Gate, the People's Temple, where Jim Jones had engineered a mass suicide, drinking the Kool-Aid. And then we also have David Koresh in Waco, Texas, the siege that went down there with the FBI. Those are very famous cults, and of course the cult of Charles Manson, the Manson family, which they committed murders. He drove them to commit murders. Those are, and also the man with a funny looking mustache that was in the 40s, and then World War II happened. That guy as well, and the Soviets. They were also part of huge cults. So those are any kind of extreme beliefs that lead to mass deaths and stuff like that. Those are the more extreme things. Generally, your more common cults will not really lead to deaths, but they may lead to depression and suicide, but they may not actually lead to mass deaths. So it's a lot of people have a hard time comprehending that. Like, well, what is a general everyday cult? Well, think of this example. You're in a local church, and everybody seems just too happy and friendly towards you. But after a couple of weeks, you start noticing that, well, this friendliness is not actually genuine, and they're actually just manipulating you. They in the past has given you bad looks. He wants you to donate a lot more, and he believes that he has the only way to heaven. He tries to also isolate you from family and friends and cut you off from the outside world, since only his way is the right way. And I mean, he makes a convincing argument, so you start to believe him. But at the end of the day, your social circle grows much smaller and smaller, and you're placed even deeper into control than you were before, and it starts to weigh down on you, and you become more isolated. Your language changes as well to match that of the cults. Your thinking pattern becomes a lot more restricted. You may even become depressed because, I mean, it's depressing being stuck like that. And you completely rewire your mind. You don't think like they don't want you to. You only think in a very specific way. There's no way of thinking outside the box or anything like that. You're stuck in a prison of thought. You have been brainwashed, and it's a gradual process that happens over time. So it's something that we all should watch out for. And some of you guys might say, well, there you go, religion is a cult. Stay away from religion. It's not just religion. Cults can also be political or ideological. I mean, it doesn't have to just be political. In fact, the most harmful cults throughout history were actually more political. Like, I mean, think of the Caesar cult of Julius Caesar, which resulted in the complete destruction of Roman democracy, and in which people usurped the government of Rome by power, leading to a tyranny. That's also very sketchy. Like, a lot of people think like that, say it was for the best. Other people do not believe so, myself included. Or the many human sacrifice cults throughout history. In actuality, the word cult comes from means an object of worship. So that's why a lot of people may get a little bit confused what is actually a cult, because I mean, like just saying they worship somebody, that's a cult. No, that's a religion. That's what we say in the modern words. Just the Greeks had cults of towards a particular deity, so those would they just worship them. Some of them were destructive cults, sure, but like they place control over the members, but it's not necessarily that they were cults in and of themselves. And some people will also say, well, what's the difference between a cult and a sect? Well, a sect is something that breaks away from a major religion and has differing beliefs from it. Like early Christianity was a sect of Judaism, so that's not actually the cult, the definition of cult I'm looking for. That's some people. That's a definition of a theological cult, is something that breaks away from the central tenets of a major religion, but that's not actually what I refer to when I refer to as a cult. Uh, what I refer to when I say a cult is a destructive cult. That is a group that places undue influence on its members, that brainwashes them and causes them to assume another identity than what they actually are. The actual personality is brought down and suppressed, while this alternate cult personality takes over and acts in their place. A lot of people in cults have extreme identity issues. They may even act like somebody with, say, borderline personality disorder or even dissociative identity disorder, even though it's not that. It's brainwashing and hypnosis and conditioning that causes it. It's not actually personality disorders. It's something that's hypnotized and brought on by people. And I think more scientific research is needed. Yeah, well, you can read books by top researchers such as Stephen Hassan and John Attack, or Attic. I don't know how do you pronounce it. Those are both read their books. Stephen Hassan's book "Combating Cult Mind Control" and John Attack. I'm gonna presume that's how you pronounce it. His book, "Opening Minds." That's a very good book. It's actually the best book I've read on cults. Is "Opening Minds" by John Attack. So please read that book. It will very much explain this in a lot more detail than I can, at least currently. Hint, hint. So yeah, that was responding to common objections. I don't want this to go on for too long because I mean I'd like at least this to be watchable for future viewers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know what you thought. If you want me to do more videos like this in the future, then please let me know. I'd be more than happy to. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, credit to all my patrons, supporters. If you want to join my YouTube channel, then click down below. You can get, for the lowest tier, you can get shout outs to my videos. For the second tier, you can get access to exclusive monthly members only live stream, in which we can just chat about whatever you want. If there's just one member or one or two members for now, it's going to be a short live stream. But as members grow, then I'll make longer live streams for you guys. And once again, just for those who are like, well, you're making a cult. Yes, you're right. I'm kidding. All feedback across all channels will be considered, regardless of whether or not you're a member. As I said before, I do accept criticism. I don't believe I'm above any kind of criticism. I believe in the virtue of accepting hard truths about yourself. So, and I expect it of other people. So it would be hypocritical of me to object to it. So, once again, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, or don't leave a like, leave a dislike, whichever way you want to go. Share this video across social media and all that good stuff. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. It takes like 5 seconds and you can unsubscribe at any time. And you can also join for membership. I mean, you can join and cancel at any time. So once again, no strings attached. It's just a way of supporting my channel and also getting credit in my videos, like I did at the beginning of this video. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you again with another video right here on KVRX.